Okay, I'm back. So what I usually do is use the guillotine to mark where I want to cut it, and then it's much easier for me to use the blade. It goes on very nice and smooth. Here we go. I measure 4 inches. I keep moving it. I didn't set it up straight. Okay. And I can just lay them together like this. Here we go. I lay them on top of each other. It acts as a ruler. It's pretty easy. It keeps them in bunches. Okay. 1, 2, 3. I have 4. I have 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And let's do one more. I need 6, so I need one more. Now let's group them in 2, 2, and 2. Make sure they fit in the same size. This one is just a teeny bit longer. To make sure it's completely flush together. Very good. Okay, so this is 2. Sometimes I switched it around and I move it around because depends on how you cut. Sometimes it's in a little bit in an angle this way or this way, and it'll just sit better if you turn it around. So I play around with it just to make sure it's nice and flush. That's my second one. And this is my third one, my third batch. My third batch need a little adjustment. See? It's okay if I go a little under, as long as they match, it's okay. Okay, that's my third one. All right, now I'm going to cut the inner frame. This frame. Now this is a little tricky because, as you can see, okay, the measurements of the side doesn't match the height. You can choose to do it even if you want, like there is a 1/2 inch here and a 1/2 inch here and a 1/2 inch here, which means from the edge of my artwork to the edge of the frame on the sides here is only 1.5 inches, but over here there's a lot more. You see, there is about, I'm sorry, I said 1.5 inches, it was wrong. That is 3/4 inch. Over here there is 1.25 inches, just a little less, but something like that. So it doesn't really match. I happen to like it that way. This is something that I chose to do, but you can choose to do it a little more symmetric if you like. Okay. So the first step is when I take the 2.5 by 3.5 inch artwork, I want to cut no, you know what, let's back up a little bit. I'm going to start actually with doing the frame here, because then I'm going to use the inside of what I'm cutting to do the other frame. Okay, so I'm going to do 1 inch here and 1/2 inch here. I'm going to mark 1 inch here, 1 inch here. Same on this side. I don't really like this roller. I don't know why I picked it up. It's difficult to work with because it has cork on one side. It's okay for some projects that it needs to, you need to really hold it tight, but for this particular one it's just not comfortable. Okay. And 1/2 inch here. One, two, three. I'm going to repeat the same. And the rest of them, I'm just going to keep them together. I'm going to use this roller. It's a little bulky. Just a little better here. Okay. Oops. quarter of an inch here, and we will do half an inch on this side. You see, right now it's a little short than 6 inches by like a 1/16 of an inch, which is fine. You know, I don't mind. You know, I'm using scraps, and sometimes the measurements, you know, don't exactly fit. But as long as the two pieces fit together, that's okay with me. If I have enough for two. Okay. Okay, that's my second one. Keep it together with the matching 4x6 board, and let's do the third one. Then I'm doing half an inch here. And a 1/4 inch on the sides. Okay, let's cut them. Now I'm going to cut, and I'm going to make sure to stop here at the ends because I need this to be a perfect square. Okay. I'm going to go a little over. I don't want it to be exactly half an inch. I prefer for it to be just a teeny bit wider. Okay. I mean, I'm talking really a smidgen. Okay, there you go, it popped out. And I have the frame, outside frame for this piece. Okay, repeat on the other three. Oops, moved a little. Okay, see, I moved a little bit here. I don't know if you can see with a knife, you see here. So in order to correct it, I'm just going to turn it around and cut it from the other side. Okay. If you need a little nudge, like it gets stuck, just turn it over. Give it a little nudge from the other side. There we go, it comes out. Nice and clean. Very good. Okay, frame number 2 is ready. I like to keep the pieces together. So I have 3 pieces here, the 3 pieces here. Okay. That's for the 3rd set. Repeat. And set number 3. Okay. So we have this for the outer frame. Now I'm going to need this for the inner frame. Okay. And this piece is it's 4 inches by 3 inches. It's 4 by 3. So I'm going to need 3 4 by 3. Now the inner side that we took out from here is a little over 3. So I have enough for 4 by 3 right here. Okay. I'm actually going to use my trimmer. I think it will be just faster this way. Okay. Hopefully I won't knock the phone down. Three. By 4. Okay, that's my 4 by 3, and this will be my frame around here. Now I'm going to cut the inside little piece that I took out is actually really good for it. And the little leftover. I'm just going to use that. Because if I use this as a template, it's going to make sure that all the sides are even. Hi girls, my dogs just came downstairs. I love my girls. Okay. If you cut a little over the edge, it's okay because we're going to cover it with paper anyway. So it's not a problem. No one is going to see it. You see, like over here that I went over right there. As long as it's not corrupting the square, it's okay. It's going to be covered with paper. Over here I didn't make it so straight. Let me just straighten it up a little bit with a ruler. Okay. Okay. Don't pull if you have a little bit of the corners stuck. Don't pull on it because then you're gonna have a little piece of paper. Just go over it a couple of times with the ruler, with the tip of it, not with the ruler, I'm sorry, with the knife. Make sure it's nice and clean. Okay. So this is the inside frame, right? I'm gonna have this and the outside frame and the inside frame to fit here. Now what I want to do is I want to create a raise for this one to sit high, which I really like it. So I'm going to take the leftover piece here and I'm going to cut I think I'll cut two pieces, 2 or 3, I don't remember, but I think 2 is enough. So let's just cut it in 2 even halves. Let's measure it. It's just about, it's 3 1/4. Okay, mark the center. Okay, I cut it in 2 halves, so now I have 2 of them. And they're small, they're about 1 3/4 inches here and about 2 1/2 here. It's going to sit right underneath the artwork like that. it's going to raise it. Okay, like that, like so. See the white inside? That's it. Okay. So all the pieces are ready for this one. It's going to sit like that. Okay. And let's repeat with the other pieces that we have. Okay. I need a 3x4. You can also use this if you want, if you prefer. You do it this way. You mark it. But for this you have to have a good eye to make sure that the lines, everything is even. There we go. Just clean up the edge here. Okay, we have a frame. This one I'm going to cut in 2 halves, same as the other one. Okay. Mark the center. Okay, and I have 2 halves. Second one is done. Let's do the third. And we're almost ready to start with the pattern paper, which is the fun part. Okay. Okay, so remember before we used the ruler and we measured, and then we used a knife, but this time I'm using just the rotary cutter. I just find it faster this way. I'm turning it around and going with the blade because this is how I get the corners nice and clean. Okay, all out. Oh, what did I do? I made a mistake. It's okay. I made a frame that's not 2x4. I needed to cut it by 2x4. I was ahead of myself a little bit. It's okay. We'll do a 3x4, not a 2x4. I think this is the 3x4. No, this is now a little shorter. All right, so let's just use a different scrap. That's 4. All right, never mind. It happens. Again, and I think it's just a little bit crooked. I saw. I'm gonna have to straighten it out. Okay. Here we go. Okay, so I'm gonna leave this little mistake here for another project that I will do. It's okay. There's always something that I can do with it. Okay, this is ready. Okay, so I have my bases for the 3 frames, and now let's go and cut the pattern paper. Okay, set number 1. I'm going to do, I don't want to do this. I want to do actually, I don't want to do this one. I want to do that. Let me just cut this in the middle. Because I'm going to use it in 2 of the frames. And this is a 12 by 12 paper. So I want to cut 6 by 6. Let's just cut 6 inches here. I have a big paper cutter, but I really don't need it for just to cut one paper. I'm just going to use my ruler for this. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Go. And let's cut 4 inches width because my frames are 4 by 6. Let's do this side. This one has more of the polka dots. Okay. And put this aside for scraps. Okay, here we go. I have this. Now in this particular one, I have the green polka dot in the middle. With this one, I'm going to put it inside. And I'm going to use this in the middle. This is the inside. So from this particular one, I'm going to need a 3 by 4. It's just first make sure my edge is straight. And let's do a (3" by 4. That's my 3 by 4 for the inside. And I will use this for the outside or the inside? That's a good question. Where do I want it? Do I want it like this? Or do I want it like that? I like this way better. I like that the light color breaks the two darker shades. Okay, so this will be the outside frame and this will be the inside frame. I'm going to cut 6 by 4 on this one. So this is the 6 by 4 and this will be the frame on top. Now this is what I'm doing. I want to make sure that the paper that I cut is exactly the size of the board. Otherwise I'm going to have pieces coming out. So I have to lay the paper on top of the board. And I prefer for it to be a little smaller rather than over. See? I'd rather it this way than that way. Okay. So, let's see. I'm laying it over and I'm turning it around and it's pretty much the same. I just have a little bit of edge here which I'm gonna trim just a little tiny bit. Here we go. let's glue this here. You know what, I want my spreader. Let me see where I have my spreader. Here we go. That's my glue spreader. You know, there's an interesting story behind it. I went to a craft show in California a few years ago. I attended a class there, and we got a little kit, you know, with, you know, different glues and different things, and it was really a lot of fun. And they gave us a spreader, which I loved, and I used it and I wanted to get more, obviously, you know, in case this one breaks. Because watch, I'm putting the glue here, and it's really not good to use too much in excess, because then the paper wrinkles. And this is just a fabulous little tiny, you know, plastic gadget. It spreads the glue nice and even, and I really like it. So I went to find it, and I couldn't find it anywhere. And turned out that the manufacturer it's sold in Australia. I couldn't find it in the United States anywhere. I had to go to Australia to get it. So it really didn't cost me much in, you know, to purchase it. It just cost me a lot in shipping. But I love it. I just bought a whole bunch, and it will last me for a few years for sure. Okay, just want to make sure that I'm putting it all nice and straight, and I'm not doing a very good job. Right. Okay, here we go. Now you use the other side of the spreader to tighten it up and remove all excess glues. That's why I like this little tool. It's just really a flat plastic thing. Now if anybody is interested, the brand is Helmar, 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 and the website is www.helmar.com.au for Australia. And I will try to put it here. I don't know if you can see it, but it's right here. Okay, the brand is Helmar, Helmar, and it's a great little thing. Okay, so we're going to put it on the side to dry. And we're going to cut the frame, the paper for the frame. Okay, and the best way is really, because it's a very thin paper that I'm using, it's not thick, it'll go very nicely to just lay it together on top of each other and then just cut it. So there are two ways. You can just lay it this way underneath and cut it this way, or you can just lay it on top, turn it over, and cut it there. My philosophy is that you always cut from the side you want up. It's just cleaner this way. So I prefer to cut it this way, because this is the side that will be up. I just want to make sure that I'm putting it exactly in line with the mat board. And remember that I prefer to have less than it going over. Just, okay, here we go. I think this is good. All right, just hold it tight and don't move. If this is too difficult, by all means, just take a pencil, mark it with a pencil first, and then cut it. You know, if you want to be sure and you don't trust yourself to make it right the first time, just use a pencil, mark it, and then cut it. I'm doing the shortcuts. Okay. Turn it over. Do the corners. Okay, make corrections if necessary, like so here. There we go. And this will be the frame. Okay, right now I'm not gluing it on yet. I'm just preparing it. And let's do the inside. And this is my inside frame. Same principle applies. Keep a finger tight on this at all times so that it will not move. Here we go. I have to bring the light a little closer. Here we go. I'm turning blind in my old age. Okay, a little bit more. Remember, don't pull. Just go over it a little bit, one more time with a knife. Okay. And this is for the inside frame. This is a little piece that I have left over, scrap, so I'm gonna put it on the side and use it for something else. Okay. So I have the inside. This is basically what it's gonna be. Okay. I'm gonna put it here on top of this way. This piece will sit in the center like that. Like so. These two pieces in the middle and this over it. Like that. Okay. Now the reason I'm not gluing it yet is I like to paint the edges. I don't like it when I have white edges like this. I like it all nice and neat. So I'm going to paint the edges first, and then I'm going to glue it, and then I will paint the edges on the outside and give it a little bit of an oomph. You see over here, I painted it in green and pink. The inside frame is also painted with green. And then on the outside I have a little bit of pink. See, it just a little bit on the edge. It gives it a pretty nice and clean look. Okay, so this is what I'm going to do now. The first thing I'm going to paint is the edges for this, and I'm going to pick a color. I want to pick a color. Maybe I will pick out like a peach color. But before applying it on, I'm actually going to test it. So let's just take a little piece of white here and test it. And this is nice. It matches pretty nice. Okay. So I'll take the board. I'm going to paint the edge. I'm using a Prisma marker. If you don't have a Prisma marker, that's okay. You can use any paint you like. You know, you can use watercolors, you can use gouache, you can use regular markers. You can use any paint you like. If you have like little leftover paper here, you know, you can just go ahead and trim those so it's nice and clean. Okay. And the inside also. You can use the same color, you can use a different color. Okay. Now what I'm going to do is I'm just going to lightly go over it here. And I do this because if the scrapbook paper that I just cut, this one, let's say I didn't cut it exactly and it goes a little bit inside like this, I don't want the whites to show. See? It looks ugly. But if it's painted with the same color, and it will show a little, it's not so bad. Then it looks like it's on purpose. Okay. I'm also going to color the edge of the paper a little bit, because you can see a little bit of white there, not much, but just a little bit. So very lightly I'll go over it. If you don't know your paper very well, I would recommend always to test it on the side before you test it on the paper you cut, because sometimes paints bleed or they don't come out looking good. So just give it a little test on the side and see how it reacts and how it's coming out. And if you like it, then do it on the real thing. Okay. Okay, I'm doing the inside now, just a little bit. You don't have to do, like I said, all the same color. You can use different color. It adds a little bit of interest. I'm also going to paint this with the same color. And the other one I've done it in a different color, but I might use a different color. Okay, you see, because I already glued it, some areas are not coming out very well. So I'm going to do a little change of plan here, and I'm going to use actually a metallic color that will go over the glued areas better. Okay. Let me see where my metallic gold is. I'm shaking it. Just regular metallic gold. And it's a little dried out. Oh, this one is dried out. Alrighty. I think I picked up the wrong thing. Here we go. Okay, it covers it better. Okay. Now I can go ahead and glue this on. Again, don't put too much glue because you want it to sit nice and tight. Use the glue spreader. So that you have glue everywhere. And place it carefully. It's a little tricky. Here we go. And go over it, make sure you have no bubbles, no air pockets, no glue, no excess glue. Okay, very nice. Okay. I want to give it a little bit of color on the outside. So I'm going to test a little bit of this. I don't know if I want or gold. Let me see if I'm going to use a little bit of this color. Maybe. And I will test it over this paper here. Yeah, it comes out really nice. You know, just a little touch. Okay. So now that I tested it, I can use it on here. Let me just put some paper underneath it so I wouldn't ruin it. Okay. Oh, cute. Okay, just a little bit. Very cute. Okay. I'm gonna let it dry a minute before I glue it. And let's do the same thing on this one, on the little frame. On this one, I'm going to use a different color than the orange that I took. Maybe I will use something along the lines of the navy. Let me see if I have something that I like. Okay, this might be a little too dark, I don't know. Let's see my tester. It's okay, it looks okay. Okay, let's do this one. Okay, doing the inside and the outside in navy blue. Make sure there are no white areas showing. Nice and tight. And the edges. You know, some of you, if you don't like to combine colors and do contrast, you know, you might want to do the blue one or with the blue paper, and this way you'll have less of the orange showing in areas like this, which is fine. It's a matter of personal preference. I like to have the different colors showing and popping out. It gives it a little character, I think. So I don't always do that, but sometimes. In this particular case, that's what I chose to do. You know, you can just have fun with it and try different things and see what you like and what works for you, what your preference is. Okay, we're almost done. Okay. And I can glue this on now. Put just a little glue. Use a spreader. Oops. I actually think I didn't put enough in some areas, so I'm just going to add a little bit more. Very nice. Okie doke. Now what I want to do is bring a little bit of that orangey color into the inside frame as well. Here you go, just a little bit. Very nice. Okay. Okay, let's glue them in. Now, when I glue two pieces of paper together, what I usually do is I get some clips like these, so I can hold them together. So let's prepare some clips. There we go. I'm gluing the inside of the frame. Again, remove excess glue. Okay, lay it nice and flat. Make sure all the edges are aligned and straight. And use clips to hold it together. Clips really only need to be there for just a couple of minutes. After that, it should be pretty good. Okay. All right, I'll keep this together with this. And now I'm going to put, remember those two little tiny pieces? Let's glue those together. Now you can choose to paint the edges or not paint the edges. It's totally up to you. You really won't see much of it. So it's really not necessary. If you want, you can paint it. Just makes it neater. There are also glue dots and glue foams and glue squares that already have like a sticker on one side and they're raised. You can use that if you choose. Anything that help raise this from the board is good. Okay, now I'm going to place it in the middle. Okay, hold it tight. And let's put some clips. To be careful on this one. Okay. Okay. Just gonna let it dry a little bit more. And while I let it dry a little bit more, I can cut the other pieces of paper in the meantime. So I would recommend to really let it dry just a little bit more before you continue. So we're gonna take a chance here. Okay. If you're using kind of paper that is has texture in it, sometimes it's a good idea to use maybe crazy glue or a different kind of glue than the white one. You know, if you're using just regular paper, then Elmer's glue should be just fine. Okay, I glued this and I'm going to try to center it. I'm using my eye, obviously. If it's hard for you to just use your eye, use a ruler and make a little marking where to place it. Okay. Okay, while I'm letting it dry, okay, this will not reach, but while I'm letting it dry, I'm going to prepare a little string so that we can hang it. And let's see what I'm going to use. Now these pieces are so light in weight, they're so light that you really don't require anything that's too heavy. I mean anything that needs to be used for a heavy hanging picture. So I'm using just a regular little string. I think this should be good enough. Okay. It should be quite good. Okay. I'm just going to tie it on both sides. Okay, and really any type of packing paper should be good, or Scotch tape. At how it gets taped to my hand. Ugh. Well, it's nice and strong. It should be strong enough to hold the paper. Oh, I don't like it when I lose the end. It's always a battle. Okay, and it will hang right there. It's pretty strong. Okay, this should be ready. I'm going to be a little bit more generous with the glue. Make sure you center it. Hold. I don't think it will reach. See, it doesn't reach. So because it doesn't reach, I'm going to do something a little different. Is I'm going to take a piece of cardboard. I'm going to hold it over it this way. And now I'm going to use the clips. Here we go. So it'll keep it pressed down. When this dries and holds together well, put the string and you can hang it. Okay. So let's say it dried. It's not dry yet. You have to leave it there for a few minutes. Use your friend. Okay. I'm off to making 2 more so that I'll have a nice series together. I hope you enjoyed it and show me what you made. Bye.